Gina Chamacy here, your favorite psychoanalyst practitioner, talking about everything mental health. Today, I wanted to jump on here and talk about people pleaser. As a recovering people pleaser myself, working on it, I wanted to say, I always sometimes like to use little stories. I found out this through another video and in another research that I was doing, that it takes the African elephant, I think it's 18 to 22 months for them to have their babies, compared to human beings. That's less than a year. 22 months, that's a long time. Almost 2 years. Can you imagine carrying a baby almost 2 years? Some of us, before 40 weeks, you're like, oh, get that baby out. You can't walk, you're in pain. So I wanted to compare that to, recovering from people-pleasing mode. Sometimes it's a lifelong journey. It's not one learned thing and then done with type of thing. At least I found out. Because whatever led to the people pleasing could be from childhood trauma. For many of us suffering people pleasing type of a personality, it comes from childhood trauma, not being being invalidated. Maybe you've had a history of trauma. You have a history of neglect, which leads to the term trauma, big T trauma or small T trauma, and how your recovery went on, or the lack of recovery thereof. If there was no therapy, it's just you just riding life and attracting people who might have the opposite of people pleasing, which in many cases can lead on to added traumatizing. So really recognizing that you're a people pleaser is first win. And learning to set boundaries, because boundaries are for you. So you're setting like, hey, I feel like I will not accept this. I felt this way when you do that. Instead of putting on the other person, saying you never, you don't do this, you don't do that. Rather flipping into saying how you feel, how it makes you as a people pleaser feel. So if that person is responsive and communicative and is not a toxic person who's open and willing to be in that relationship with you as a people pleaser and be able to help you co-regulate, right? Co-regulate through communication, finding compromise, co-regulate even with a hug and reassurance, and making you feel like you're safe, because we all want to be seen, we all want to be safe, feel safe. You all want to be loved. That's we crave community as humans. We don't want to be in isolation. We, as a people pleaser or an introvert, most times people pleasers are also introverts, right? You should crave that community. Maybe small communities could be your thing. So learning to set boundaries, saying no is a full sentence, and working on not having a lot of guilt after saying no or after setting the boundary for you if the other person fails to receive it, fails to reciprocate, fails to kind of have that sway of give and take that happens in relationships. You have to get to a point where you're giving yourself that grace, right? Like the elephant. 22 months is a long time. I'm sure that elephant would be like, a lot of deep breaths. This is hard. This is a long pregnancy period. I'm pregnant with this people-pleasing thing, but it's taking time for me to birth my new version of me, but I'm willing to wait through those times, those days to get there, where you can be stronger, less guilty about setting boundaries and saying no, and maybe distancing, slowly loving from distance as a people pleaser, so you're not like losing sleep over or worse still, attracting the wrong people into your circle that could cause you to now have more guilt, shame, anxiety, and also relying on not feeling like you're needed, especially as mothers or single mothers. Also, for more so, you can be married and still be running like you're single, though, just so you know. So single in whichever way you present, so not feeling like you're being needed in one way or the other by your kids, by parents, by siblings, by blah blah blah, by your boss constantly on you, email. You're not setting boundaries, like, for example, being able to shut your phone off at a certain time. You function better. I find myself functioning better when I shut my phone off after maybe 4:30 or 5 o'clock, because I can spend time with my kids, because then I have more of myself, can take that moment to myself. So if you call me after 5 and you don't reach me, I just have that capacity to be able to have a momentum until that time. And after that, I'm just not that engaged. It can be on the phone or email, whatever, meetings after that. I'm not great. But Monday morning, Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning, Friday morning, in the morning, I'm the it. Going to the gym in the morning, I'm the it. I will not go to the gym in the evening because I'm low in energy in the evening because I'm tapped out. So that's what I found after learning about myself and what works. Weekends. That's another thing. I like to take those days to just be and be in the moment and maybe relish. I might connect with one or two people different ways, but learning that maybe those 2 days will be those days for me. And I've learned this from so many people who are in this wellness journey, and being in this safe space to say this, I think is kind of also honoring of where your healing journey is going as a people pleaser. So not being needed, setting those boundaries. Not being validated by likes on social media is another huge thing, or being validated by your job. So let's say you lose that job. Let's say you lose that contract. Who are you beyond that job, like that prestigious job? Or who are you outside of the number of likes you're getting on social media, especially in these days with social media? Like if you get 1 or 2 likes, it's like the end of the day, at the end of something. No, it shouldn't be like that, truly. So you're not really associating your self-worth or your worth with how many likes you're getting, or your job, or what you do, or your accomplishment, what car you drive, what neighborhood you live in, what house you live in an apartment or a house, or blah blah blah. All those things don't matter, right? Really, at the core, accepting who you are as a people pleaser. Hey, recovering people pleaser. You know how people go to the AA meeting and say, hey, I am so and so, and I am an alcoholic. So I am Gina, and I'm a recovering people pleaser. So you wear that hat, you're self-aware, but you take steps to work towards not feeding too much into that, so you can live a wholesome lifestyle and heal childhood trauma through therapy, and self-help. And help and get help, self-help through things like this, listening to YouTube channels, podcasts, reading books, so you're aware of who you are and finding really your gift and what makes you tick as a person. Who are you at the core? Who are you? And sometimes that comes through prayer, meditation, and waiting, and just teasing it all out. But if you have no identity and you don't know who you are, you lack self-worth, and your worth is tied to a person, your worth is tied to this and that and the other, it's just, you're kind of like floating along. So I wanted to just kind of tease people pleasing, where it comes from childhood trauma and knowing healing through therapy to self-help, books, all that stuff will get you to where you need to be. So if you can heal it, in your mind, you can change it in your mind, you can change it everywhere else, and as well as in your people pleasing journey. You got this. Love you. See you at the next video.